The Crystal ambassador stood frozen in the observation deck, his 6 eyes fixed on the holovid replaying across every screen in the Galactic Council chamber. What he witnessed defied every calculation, every probability matrix his species had constructed about humanity over the past decade. The footage showed a human female named Mana, collapsed in the snow-covered ruins of Sector 7, her body curled protectively around 3 crystal cubs, her own younglings. The ambassador realized with a shudder. She had adopted them after the attack on the breeding colony, an attack his own government had secretly orchestrated. Mana's lips were blue, her breathing shallow. Frost had begun crystallizing on her eyelashes. The temperature readings at the bottom of the screen displayed negative 47 degrees Celsius. By all rights, she should have sought shelter, should have saved herself. The cubs were Crystal, apex predators who had conquered 17 systems before humanity even achieved faster-than-light travel. They could survive the cold far better than any human, but Mana hadn't left them. "Enhance Sector 9 Alpha," the Council Arbiter commanded, her translated voice echoing through the chamber. The image zoomed in on Mana's hands. They were wrapped around the smallest cub, the runt of the litter, keeping him pressed against her chest where her failing body heat could still reach him. The other 2 cubs whimpered, their razor-sharp claws retracted, pressing against her sides as if they understood she was dying for them. Then the sky caught fire. The Crystal ambassador felt his respiratory spiracles constrict. He had heard the reports, dismissed them as propaganda, but here was the truth burning across the screen in brilliant oranges and reds. The human elite guard, the Terran vanguard, had arrived. The first shuttle didn't land. It crashed deliberately into the abandoned industrial complex 3 kilometers north of Mana's position. The impact triggered a chain reaction through the facility's fuel reserves. Within seconds, an inferno erupted, sending waves of heat rippling across the frozen wasteland. But it wasn't enough. The readings showed Mana's core temperature still dropping. A second shuttle struck the residential towers to the east. The ancient structures, already weakened by the war, collapsed into themselves, their internal power cores exploding like miniature suns. The heat signature on the screen spiked dramatically. "They're burning the city," someone whispered in the chamber. "They're burning an entire city just to create warmth." The commander leading the operation was a human male named Ender. The comm logs played his voice. "Cold and absolute. All units continue bombardment pattern Delta. I don't care if we have to turn this entire sector into glass." "She doesn't die in the cold. Not today. Not ever." 4 more shuttles screamed down from orbit, each one a guided missile aimed at strategic infrastructure, the water treatment plant, the power distribution center, the transit hub. Every impact sent fresh waves of heat cascading across the snow-covered ground where Mana lay with the cubs. The Crystal ambassador watched as human soldiers emerged from the flames, wearing armor that glowed red-hot from their passage through the inferno. They moved with singular purpose, forming a perimeter around Mana's position. One soldier, a massive human with burn scars covering half his face, knelt beside her, checking her vitals while others deployed portable heating units. "Temperature stabilizing," a medic's voice crackled through the comm. "She's hypothermic but alive. The cubs are unharmed." Ender's response was immediate. "Get her to the medical frigate now, and someone find blankets for those cubs. If one of them catches a chill, I'm burning what's left of this city to the ground." The ambassador's translator struggled with the human idiom, but the meaning was clear enough. The holovid continued. It showed Mana being lifted onto a stretcher, still unconscious, still clutching the smallest cub. The medics had to gently pry her frozen fingers loose. When they did, the cub let out a keening wail that echoed through the ruins, a ID, sound no Crystal had made since their species had evolved beyond such primitive displays of emotion millennia ago. The other 2 cubs followed the stretcher, refusing to leave Mana's side even as human soldiers tried to guide them to safety. One snapped at a soldier who got too close, drawing blood. The human didn't retaliate. He simply stepped back, allowing the cubs to maintain their vigil. "Explain this," the Council Arbiter demanded, her gaze fixed on the Crystal ambassador. "Your species engineered the Crystal to be the perfect warriors. No weakness, no sentiment. Yet these cubs bonded with a human female strongly enough to risk death themselves. And the humans," she gestured at the burning cityscape on the screen. "The humans destroyed an entire urban center, Valuable infrastructure, historical sites, resources worth billions, just to keep one woman warm. The ambassador's mandibles clicked nervously. We miscalculated. We believed humans would prioritize logical survival. We believed their pack bonding was limited to genetic offspring. You believed humans were like you. Ender's voice cut through the chamber. The human commander had arrived in person, still wearing his combat armor, still smelling of smoke and burning metal. That was your first mistake. He walked to the center of the chamber, his boots leaving scorched footprints on the pristine floor. Mana wasn't those cubs' biological mother. She wasn't even their legal guardian. She found them in a bombed-out shelter, scared and alone, after your government decided they were acceptable collateral damage. His eyes locked onto the ambassador. She could have left them. Should have by any logical calculation. But humans don't work on your mathematics. Ender pulled up a new image. Mana in a medical pod, awake now with all three cubs curled around her. She was smiling despite the frostbite damage to her extremities, despite knowing she'd never regain full function in her left hand. We don't abandon our pack. Ender continued. Genetic or chosen, it doesn't matter. And when one of ours falls protecting innocence, any innocence, even the cubs of a species that's been trying to destroy us, we'll burn down the universe itself to bring them home. The council chamber remained silent. The Crixtal ambassador felt something cold and foreign settle in his thorax. It might have been fear. It might have been understanding. The war's over, the arbiter declared suddenly. The Crixtal Dominion will cease all hostile actions against humanity immediately. And she looked directly at the ambassador, someone needs to teach your people what you've clearly forgotten. That strength without compassion isn't strength at all. It's just cruelty waiting to be answered. As the council dispersed, Ender remained, staring at the image of Mana and the cubs. Behind him, the city still burned, visible through the observation deck's massive windows. It would burn for 3 more days before the fires finally died, but Mana lived. The cubs lived. And the galaxy learned what humanity had known all along, that sometimes the most dangerous thing in the universe isn't the creature with the sharpest claws or the biggest weapons. It's the one who refuses to leave anyone behind, no matter the cost.